Hello everybody, welcome back to Spot On Jaguars, brought to you by Teal Reign and Peppery Blue Hot Sauce, where we talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars and all things Duval. On today's show, we're going to be doing some news and notes from around the league, the Eazy Engram re-signing. We're going to talk about the opening of the Miller Electric Center and the training camp preview. Stick around to the very end, we got a great giveaway for you, so hit that like and subscribe button, mash the notification bell, and let's get started. And I'm Eric, your host, and let's get started. Today, big news today was the Saquon Barkley re-signing to a 1 year, $11 million deal. Pretty good for the Giants, have to get him signed. But the story is the running backs around the league, we have a few top-notch running backs that either don't have deals or can't get extensions. Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook, obviously not even on a team right now. Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs, the league leader in rushing last year, can't get an extension. Saquon had to essentially hold out to get a 1 year deal. What does that mean for the running backs? What do you think about the position in itself and our running backs? Because we have obviously Travis Etienne coming up soon for a deal. Talk about the position in itself first, Ben. What do you think? Obviously becoming a passing league, the NFL. Talk about that for a second. Ben, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just devalued, because it's such a passing league now. I mean, you need them. There was some group that's all met together to kind of figure out, like, well, what can we do? Because, you got guys at other positions that are getting paid way more than these top tier running backs, and right now it's just a devalued position because of the way the league's going. I mean, we'll talk more about it. I mean, I think we got a great set of backs.
Speaking to that, Jeff, I'm going to ask you. So now that we have a passing league, I think no one's going to say it's not a passing league outside of maybe the Titans and Derrick Henry. Now that we have a passing league, has that position became devalued? Going back into the 80s and 90s where running backs were at a higher level with Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Thurman Thompson, everyone remembers the elite guys, and the receivers were overlooked and underpaid. And then when, I guess Jerry Rice was the biggest name back then, and then we get into the newer modern era with Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, those guys, and even Jimmy Smith for the Jaguars, when they became more valuable to take the load off the quarterback, stretch the defenses out, and open up the whole field for everybody. So now we're seeing the running backs being underpaid, where it was in the past the receivers were the underpaid, overlooked guys. Is this just how a correction or bring it back to the mean, or do you think this is the way of the future where running backs are going to be negated from here on?
I think it's just a change of football completely. I mean, we'll go through changes kind of like the way the weather goes through changes. I mean, it'll, who knows, 20 years from now, we might go back to that running backs are dominant, but it's just the wear and tear on your running backs.
Right.
And I'll see more first round running backs not get paid compared to like your second round, third round running back.
And when it comes to a first rounder, you can control that guy for 5 years, essentially the most useful of his prime, and then discard them. And how do they even make it to that second contract and get paid? Do you have to be an all otherworldly talent like an Adrian Peterson, or is there a way for a guy like Josh Jacobs, who led the league in rushing and cannot get an extension right now? Is there anything they can do? Is there anything?
I mean, there's just so many plethora of running backs that you can do in a passing.
Right, you
game.
plug and play your running backs because you're more worried about the passing.
Yes,
Correct.
The way the rules have changed, it allows for that more, open passing game. And then, I mean, you see it all the time now. You get, it's like, we were criticized when we took Fournette because we spent such a high draft pick on him when you can get running backs now in the later rounds.
But here's what I'll see a change. Like, just because of what's going on now you got younger kids that see what's going on in the NFL and going, I don't want to be a running back. So now you're going to have less and less and less running backs, and then you might see a change 10, 15 years from now.
We have a team right now in the division, the Tennessee Titans, with an indispensable, invaluable running back, Derrick Henry, who is the entire offense for them, to the point where they got rid of A.J. Brown, but they've signed DeAndre Hopkins, so they have addressed that, and for the most part, getting themselves a receiver when they thought they could just rely on the running back. But we've seen a guy like a Derrick Henry, and if he can't get it, who's safe? I mean, it's just what, draft rookies and just plug them in.
The way his style is, that's not a safe running back. That, let me pound you in the face.
He's just been different, though. I mean, he seems like maybe he's slowed a little bit, but
I see like ETN, a different type of, that's the type of running back you kind of want. That one that make sure you got a backup, but that's that scat back that can just move to the left, move to the right. Not that, hey, let me just plow someone day in and day out on a Sunday.
I would not mind not seeing Derrick Henry twice a year. He has ran all over us in the past. So if that's the case, then so be it. I'll take it.
Yeah, agreed. But it was the big deal with getting Tank and then even Dearness Johnson. Again, we'll talk about it more when we look at training camp. But they have a short lifespan usually. And instead of, I love ETN. I want him here for a while. But if it gets to that point, as this team moves along and we start having to spend a lot of big money on Trevor, having that next guy up to kind of fill that role in when it's when the running game is not as important, I guess, as the outside guys. It's just they don't, as of right now, they don't want to pay big money to running backs, and so ETN may leave, but who knows? Maybe another team doesn't want to pay him a whole lot either. But like you said, things are cyclical, and I think that's a good point. Maybe some year, 20 years down the line, 10 years down the line, that.
Well, what it's kind of like what I feel like is when they start spreading out and getting faster linebackers, guys that can cover more in the passing game, then someone will get a beast running back like a Derrick Henry and then that will bring it back to the running game. Maybe we'll see. Yeah. But we're going to talk about running backs as these guys get signed throughout the season and get placed on teams. We'll be going over the running backs some more. Right now, I want to move on to the big news from the Jaguars camp. We signed a big name tight end, big name free agent in the mold of the great tight ends of Jacksonville Jaguars past. We've had Kyle Brady, Mercedes Lewis, in our newest addition, Josh Peterson.
I think Mercedes is still playing, isn't he? He's on his 35th year, I think.
I think so.
All right. But wait, no, not Josh Peterson.
No,
hold on. Wait. Not Josh. Yes, we did sign Josh Peterson, a little nepotism signing. But the big news is really Evan Engram was on the franchise tag, signed an extension, got a 3-year, $41.25 million deal. But the good news about that, freed up $5 million in cap space. It's a $24 million guarantee. I want to get that in there. Freed up $5 million in cap space, giving the Jaguars right above $20 million in cap space to do some signings, maneuvering, and we have the Trevor extension coming up soon. So you want to have that in your back pocket. That cap
maybe
space.
They use some of that to re-sign Smoot too.
Right.
So another big.
Which I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I love Smoot.
I love Smoot.
So talking about Evan Engram and the way that Doug Peterson has used tight ends in the past. Obviously, they addressed tight end, drafting Brenton Strange second round and our second overall pick second round, but adding him to the offense with Evan Engram. Ben, talk about the use of Doug Peterson. What you saw in the offense last year, Evan Engram.
Well, it was Ingram's best year as a pro, and you can just imagine that with more pieces, he can get more creative, and it'll be a bigger part of the offense.
Way more creative.
I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't know about Strange yet. We got to see him get out there and at this level, but it looks like he's a complete back. He can block, he can catch, and so the two of them just gives a really good and creative offensive coach more toys to play with.
And you're backing up a 7-year vet. You know what I mean? And then the advice from your 7-year vet, that's huge. It's not a 2-year vet, it's a 7-year vet. Mm-hmm.
And obviously, we want to see more tight end play in the offense, but a complete surprise out of Evan Engram last season, came on strong at the end. You and I talked last offseason, Jeff. Big name tight ends coming out of college was Kyle Pitts coming from the University of Florida, went to Atlanta. We wanted him with the Jaguars, right? But we knew we weren't going to be drafting that high. But we got Evan Engram. We were, as a free agent, we were surprised. He came on strong. Then talk to us about Evan Engram. Tell us about Evan Engram.
I didn't know anything about him, but like last year, 73 receptions, 766 yards, 4 touchdowns. And the man can catch, some big catches.
He's got some wheels on him too.
Which was one of the issues in years past was him having the dropsies, not catching everything, but he fixed that. And even early in training camp, they were saying that he was dropping some balls, but whatever he did, he just kept working, and it got fixed, and he was super reliable.
Could that be just the offensive genius and the way Doug coaches his guys?
Coaching could be part of it. And it's not. He's not short on preparation either. From everything that you see and like reporters, when they're talking about it, that he's one of those guys, before and after practice, he's catching balls and putting the work in. He seems like he's just working his craft.
Guys, we also have to remember the coaching tree he comes from is that Andy Reid coaching tree where they utilize the tight end. Travis Kelce out in Kansas City. Remember Peterson back in Philadelphia with Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, the big name tight ends. If anyone that plays fantasy knows that these guys will give you the catches. Now, Jeff, what I wanted to ask you is, With the addition of Calvin Ridley this year, is that going to take away catches, yards, or is the tight end position safe in Doug Peterson's offense? What do you think?
I think with Doug, the tight end is like, that's his crown jewel.
Okay.
Like, and I think it's going to open it up a whole lot more for Evan. I think Strange is he's going to be a spotlight rookie this year. I think they're going to use him a lot. But yeah, with Calvin Ridley, it's going to open up the entire offense, and especially with Tank. And I think Tank's going to be really good. So now you got 2 running backs
They say he can catch
back
the
to
ball.
back. I mean,
now let's say he takes a dip in production between Calvin Ridley, because we know he's going to have to see between 75 and 100 catches, over 1,000 to 1,500 yards, and multiple touchdowns. So if Evan Engram declines in production, will he be, quote unquote, not living up to his contract, or do you think that he's gonna produce no matter what?
I think he's going to produce no matter what. Any Jaguar fan that's watched Evan or watched this team, you're adding another superstar. If he dips just a slight bit, no one's going to go, well, he's not worth the money. No,
Right, that's
he
what I'm
did
asking.
his job. He did his job.
And I think that a lot of the guys, not just Ingram, but Kirk, their numbers could drop some just because there's only one ball to go around.
Right.
But I think with a talented, coach, that's where a lot of my faith goes into that. He'll be able to manage it. And the other thing is something that Ingram brings to the table that I love, and it's the whole team. There's not a lot of me guys. They're all about team, and I just don't see, unless obviously if it was like just ridiculous or whatever. They're not going to be that guy saying, "Hey, I need the ball more. I need the ball." I mean, receivers are always going to have a little bit of that, I suppose, but like I just feel like there won't be any dissension or anything like that. And so yeah, their numbers I think may drop, but I don't think it's going to have any impact, but positive.
I 100% agree with the me guys because we don't have that. But you got to think in the beginning of last year's, our offense was, we were very shaky.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Till like 5th, 6th game in, to where we actually started to like produce.
And that's when we start seeing.
And that was without Calvin Ridley, and that's
correct.
Without.
So we might not
Big
see a dip.
Kid.
We might, but we might not because the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
Let me chime in and say this. My favorite thing about Evan Engram is you have to gear for him on defense. You have got to keep your eye on him. That's not a soft spot in the offense any longer. That's where, if you're a defense coordinator, he's going to keep you up at night. You know he's coming to play. You know that you're going to have to put your defense, keep your eyes on that guy. So that in and of itself is worth the entirety of that.
And he's a security blanket.
Of course.
Him and Trevor had good rapport, and he caught that big touchdown in the Chargers game. He came through, in some big moments. So I just think all of it together, and the fact that, this isn't an X's and O's thing, but he wanted to be here, and we haven't had that a lot in the past. And so when you have a guy that's just adamant that these guys know to play the game, right? They know to not show their hand and all that during contract negotiations. He didn't let that stop him at all. He was real open, like, I want to be here. You know what I mean? And so there was no leverage or anything like that. I think both sides wanted it to happen, and it got done.
And what what you're saying is like everybody wanted to be here. After 2017, 2018, we had all that everybody wanted to get out of everybody, and then we had Urban. Everybody's like, oh, we had that locker room controversy. Since Doug's been here, I haven't seen that, and I see them gelling together, especially towards the end of last year, and it's like they're excited, and I love that.
The old saying, the tight end is always open. So I'll take this. And speaking of Urban Meyer, let's get right to it. The only good thing he ever did in the city was the Miller Electric Center, the practice facility, the new age, space age technology they got in there. And we have it on is it on the Instagram where we have Doug Peterson visiting the Miller Electric Center?
Yes, I went out to the ribbon cutting. And I didn't even know if it was a public event. I just, I heard guys talking about it, so I was like, I'll go down there and check it out. And he was there, Balky was there, Khan, it was his birthday, he was there. And,
so tell us about it. How did it look? What did you see? Tell us about it.
Well, I didn't have the VIP tour. I just kind of went, honestly, like I said, when I got there, it was a bunch of suits and polo shirts, and I was definitely the only guy in a jersey that looked Finnish.
You should have taken me because they would have given you VIP tour to be like, hey.
By the way,
Can't say that, bro. Can't say that. I'm gonna edit that out. So, I honestly, like I said, I showed up. And, it was Balky, Peterson, Shad Khan, like I said, on his birthday.
Happy birthday, Shad Khan.
The mayor was there, and I saw some other important people in the crowd out there.
Dignitaries.
Yeah, dignitaries.
Yeah.
How giddy were you when you saw Peterson?
Peterson? I was a little giddy.
Yeah, I figured you were.
I was stoic as usual, but internally I was giddy.
Did you
Like a
get a
Taylor
look?
Swift fan.
So obviously we've seen the picture that came out was the helmets, the stacked up helmets and all that
I
stuff.
didn't see all that. So when I got there, it was everybody was on the outside. Everybody was kind of up on the little stage. But it was first class. I mean, they were giving out champagne, and like a lot of Jaguar employees were there. I saw two of my favorite ticket reps, Jacob Clayton and Casey Welch. She's my season ticket rep, and they're awesome. And then all the other like sales reps and everybody was out there. I got to chop it up a little bit with Jordan DeLugo from Gen Jag, who, by the way, shout out Gen Jag. He does a great job. That dude. Oh yeah, you got the Gen Jag shirt, huh? He does a great job. I mean, dude puts in his work and does his homework. And anyway, we talked a little bit about it. Some of those guys got to go around and see everything, and mine was more on the outside. I did get into the shop. They got the new pro shop. This is my first purchase of many. I'm sure I got the black Evan Engram. I already had the.
He's got about
black.
78 jerseys.
It's an obsession.
Putting it
It's an
mildly.
unhealthy obsession.
Yeah, anyway,
and just like everything else now with the Shad Khan era, everything's first class. Everything. There's no skimping. There's no shortcuts taken. Everything is first class. Bring them to the forefront. So we're not going to get beat on performance, on training, on any of that. First class medical staff, training center, and I like it. I mean, I like the direction. I like it all.
I like there's a couple things I loved about the Miller Electric was one, the sculpture, obviously, the artwork, and just the attention to detail. They have a barbershop in there.
I didn't even see that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's like when you go through the video, you see the barber chairs. I was like, okay, then that's legit.
Yeah.
For the players, right?
Yes.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, not for the fans, for the players.
So take
So
them
you
all
did-
off the top.
You get a haircut, not even a haircut.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So big A+ on the Military Center. Really
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
and you
Really
mentioned the Jaghead statue. So after the ribbon cutting and they shot off the little, I don't know, we call it confetti. I walked over and I was getting some video of it. It was the first time I had seen it in person, and it's awesome, by the way. One thing I didn't notice at first, it's got a little teal light that shines up, so at night it's probably going to look pretty sweet.
You can check that
But-
out on the social media if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I posted pictures there, but while I'm filming, I kind of see in my peripheral vision some other people, some other onlookers, and it ended up it was Peterson and Balky. They were both standing there. We were admiring it at the same time, so that was kind of cool. I got a cool picture of that. But yeah, what is it? It's got obviously locker rooms, training and medical facilities, office space, draft rooms, 2 full-size grass practice fields, and they got the 1 indoor barbershop. Yes, they do have the barbershop.
Sweet.
Shaded stands, which I'm weird. I like being outside. I like being in the sun, but it is nice to have some reprieve. So hopefully there will be some, maybe areas you can still work on your tan. But it's blazing this time of year, so it'll be nice to have the shaded areas. Concession areas, they have actual bathrooms instead of the porta potties that they've had in years past. One thing I'm not sure about, and I've heard some talk that, I'm a big kid when I get out there. I like to, if I got the jersey on, I get them to sign it or take pictures with the guys. And they said that maybe the player access might not be as much as it was in years past, which that would be a bummer, but we'll see. Tomorrow
Ben, talk about the fan access. If we want to go down, can we go down? Is there times, available times? What's it like? Can we get in? What do we got?
To the center itself, as far as I know, like you can always go down there and walk around, take a picture of the Jaguars statue, but getting inside of it, I think it's probably just for training camp. There was some talk. I remember them saying when they were talking about building it that it would be used for other things other than just Jaguars training camp. That was
That'd
part
be
of the
nice.
deal. Yeah,
That would be nice.
because I mean, it's a great
It's
facility.
a money
I
maker
just-
too if you do something like that.
Exactly. But yeah, as far as that goes, I'm sure there's going to be times when it's open and whatnot. But I'm still learning, and we'll see. I'll be out at training camp, so I'll get some more info.
And another thing that's nice to have that is free agents.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
an
it's a
attraction.
sell- it's a
That's
sell
an
point,
attra-
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
It's
that's
just
the
like
thing.
getting recruits at a college that have great training facilities, blah blah blah. Same thing. Same
Right.
thing. So that's one thing great about it.
Well, like you said, that was the one thing that Urban did well. I mean, and that might have been that college mentality of like, you know, you got to have good facilities to get all the good recruits, but it does work in the NFL because you know, you can lure free agents.
Yeah.
All right, and moving right along to the point I wanted to get to the show today, training camp starts tomorrow. Ben's going to be out there, obviously. Wanted to go through some positional battles and what we're going to expect from what we want to see at training camp. You're going to be there, rain or shine, I hear. So hopefully it's shine. But yeah, let's go over some position battles and what we're looking for, what we're going to take away from training camp tomorrow. Ben, what are you most excited to see in the first day?
Rain doesn't bother him because he has no hair to mess up. But yeah, go ahead. What are you excited to see? I can actually see what he's thinking.
Position battles. Which ones are you excited to see?
If you look hard, you can see it. What he's thinking.
What am I thinking right now, Jeff?
How much?
Can we get to training camp? Can we get to training camp? Start with the running backs, Ben. Start with the running backs. Obviously, we have a starter already set with Etienne. We have some draft picks. We have some guys on the roster, and I think it's between Dearness Johnson, Jermichael Hasty, Snoop Connor, obviously Etienne. What do we got?
Well, I mean, I'm excited about the running back room. I think we're loaded. I was excited when we signed Dearness Johnson. I thought he was going to be a good backup player. He had, I think it was 2020, 2021, he had a good year. He didn't do a ton last year, but he's
a big place.
Yeah, he's a tough runner, and so, you know, I was thinking, okay, yeah, him to kind of help spell the other guys, but you know, they re-signed Jermichael Hasty. I heard, I think it was Baloo and a couple other guys were saying that Snoop looked really good in OTAs. I mean, how much can you tell in OTAs? But that he looked really good. So you got Etienne, you got Jermichael Hasty, Tank backing him up. Probably you think he's two, yeah. But we'll see. I want to look at the running backs. I want to see how they look. I'm super excited about Tank. They were saying that you know, he catches the ball a lot better than you know what a lot of people had projected or you know coming out in the draft, that he's a good pass catcher, and then you know Jermichael Hasty made some big plays for us last year, and they obviously thought, well, you know, enough of him to re-sign him. So I think we're loaded at running back, and I'm real excited about that.
Yeah.
I know, Jeff, you said you're going to try to make it out there. Don't know if you're going to get out there tomorrow, but what are you most excited to see? I know you're going to look at the Florida boys, Ventrell Miller, some of the rookies.
Mr. V. Miller.
Some of the rookies, Anton Harrison, Brenton Strange, obviously the tight end. We just talked about that. Tank Bigsby, who Ben was talking about. Who are you excited to see tomorrow?
I'm agreeing with Ben. I know I hate saying that. I almost baby barfed when I said that, but yeah, I'm looking forward to see Tank. And Trayvon Walker, that's my boy I want to see. Because that's that big, we need him this year so bad.
Right.
And I actually saw a picture of him the other day. He looks chiseled.
Oh, yeah.
Like he looked like he dropped a little bit of weight and got.
He was not slacking all season.
He looked, yeah. And then, of course, V. Miller, my boy V. Miller, I want to see him just dominate.
If Trayvon Walker takes that next step, which we all expect him to do, and gets that, he was the number 1 overall pick. All right. If he becomes what he was or what he's expected to be, that defense changes from average to above average to elite defense. I mean, that's what we're expecting, right?
Hands down.
Okay.
Hands down.
And then once you get that guy going, we're going to be playing against, well, we're expecting to be playing against division winners, Buffalo, Kansas City, the Miamis. If that guy becomes a disruptive force along the line, in the backfield, getting at the quarterback, stopping the run, doing what we know he can do, does that give our defense that extra edge? Does that make us in competing with the best in the league?
Hands down. That's why my focus is completely on him. In my opinion, it makes us elite.
As he goes, the defense will go.
Correct.
Well, Trayvon, like for me, the D line, I want to watch all that. You know, see, you know, there's always an element of what, you know.
He had low sack numbers last year, but he does Trayvon.
Oh yeah.
But he does much more than sack.
But he had some big play. He had some big plays.
Yeah, no, he did, and
he was interception.
Yeah, he was a rookie too, and so you know, they got to learn. But you know, I want to see him and Josh working together, and you know, just the defensive line in general. I think we've talked about it before, but that's my biggest thing that I'm worried about is how the defense, they are counting on the guys that they've drafted, the guys in-house to take that next step. And so as part of, you know, looking at camp, I want to see how they develop. I want to see all these guys, you know, Mike Caldwell he's been in all the guys are going to be in his system for a year. So now they come in, they know already what everybody does well, and so that's part of the evolution of it, and so that defense needing to come along, or that defense needing to take that next step is something huge.
And Trayvon's a big staple to that.
Yeah,
if he steps it up to where I believe he will, especially coming into his second year, his training, it frees up everybody else.
And what I'm looking forward to seeing, along with the pass rush, the Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen, we drafted Yasir Abdullah to help out with the pass rush, and that in turn will help out the defensive backs and the safeties. Obviously, was something, a point of contention for. We're drafting Christian Braswell, Antonio Johnson to help out in the defensive backfield, to go along with Tyson Campbell, Darius Williams. I want to see that position battle. I want to see how the depth stacks up. Who's going to be the starting nickelback, slot back? What do you got on the defensive backs, Jeff?
Darius, no interceptions last year.
No one's got to get that number up.
You got to get that number up. He had 16 pass defended, though. I'll give him that. Had 18 assisted tackles, 56 total solo tackles, I believe.
The guy can tackle.
The guy can tackle. And being what, I know I said I'm looking at Trayvon for training camp, and you're looking at the running backs, but now that you brought that up, I kind of want to see that position battle for the corners.
Yeah,
to see who's going to shine, who we drafted.
We know Tyson Campbell. He's elite. He's an elite defender. He's elite position.
Darius Williams, he played well in the second half. Hometown guy, and our top two cornerbacks are good. Our safeties are good with Rayshawn and Cisco.
We got some big plays out of the safeties last year too.
What I want to see with the secondary is just depth. Where that's
Rayshawn? Did he win us the Dallas game off the interception?
Yeah. Oh, he had a great game.
Touchdown.
Yeah, not just that.
I was there. I think I blacked out yelling so much. I was going insane.
And Ben, some other rookies. Cooper Hodges, Appalachian State, changed from offensive tackle to offensive guard, I believe. You want to see how he plays out, and I'll let you talk about Ventrell Miller. I know Jeff was itching, but tell us what you're going to see.
I mean, just the rookies in general. So we talk about what we're looking for. I mentioned running backs. That's not my main thing that I want to see. I'd say the main thing that I want to see, one of the main things I want to see is, how the rookies play. So yeah, the rookies, how they perform, and where they're going to be. I think I mentioned in one of the other shows, we're at that point as a franchise to where, with Trevor's contract and everything, these guys are going to have to be filling in over these next couple years with some of these guys that are some of our fan favorites and good players for us now. They're going to depart, and we're going to need these guys to step up. So I want to see them start to get into it. So, with Hodges, local guy, just O-line in general, another thing that I'm going to be looking at, and I'm going to be praying over the offensive line that they stay healthy. So I want to see how he looks. I want to see, Ventrell Miller, I think he was a really good player. I like having him. I kind of think it's going to come down to him and Shaq Quarterman. I don't know if, because we know Muma, Lloyd, and Aluakan, and then I think it's from there, it's Shaq and Ventrell. So I want to see how that battle goes out, because that's one of those situations where, he's playing on that rookie contract. Shaq may go, I think this year is his last year,
right,
and then he can kind of slide in and fill that spot. So the secondary help, just because we're thin. The top guys are good, but I want to see how these young guys look. And your boy Abdullah, I mean, we brought him in here, to be a pass rusher. So I want to see how he looks, because it's not to be redundant, but that's my biggest thing is the pass rush and the defense.
I'll tell you what we do have is probably the best linebacker names in the league. They sound serious.
Yeah, and hopefully that translates.
And getting back to what's on everybody's mind, Trevor Lawrence has to feel like a kid on Christmas morning with his new toy, the big pink elephant in the room, Calvin Ridley, the guy everyone's excited to see. This is the main big acquisition, traded second-round pick for the guy, huge name, huge talent. And from what we've heard, from everything that's come out, he looks different, he runs different, his routes are crisper, his hands are otherworldly, and everything about him comes off different. Tell us what you're expecting, what you're hoping to see. The veterans will be reporting tomorrow, so we will see Calvin Ridley. Jeff?
I love the reference of the shiny new toy. That's actually pretty good. He's such a dynamic receiver. Like, he's going to be a nightmare all over the field. I am so excited, especially with who we already have.
Right. Christian Kirk, Zay
It opens up, and Evan Engram, I mean, it opens up the field.
And
I'm so excited about this offense.
That's what's so dangerous about him in this offense, in Doug Peterson's offense, where you're trying to get guys matched up one-on-one in space, let them make a move, let them beat their defender, and then make a big play happen. Ben, talk to me a little bit about what you're looking for. Calvin Ridley tomorrow,
Yeah, I mean, just the offense in general, seeing them all together. They've all, they were out there training, I think, in Arizona. Trevor, I think Kirk was out there, Calvin Ridley, some other guys. But seeing them all together, in Jacksonville, getting ready for the season, I'm real stoked about that. And he's just Ridley is just a route running, expert, and like we said earlier with the other, individuals, their numbers may go down because of a guy like Calvin Ridley. He's going to get a lot of balls, but it's just overall, I mean, just what it's going to do to the whole offense and seeing them out there. And it's training camp. It's not, full live, but that's high on the list.
I know that the word game changer gets thrown around and overused, but with him, he is the true definition of a game changer. So
yes, I would definitely say that.
And that the wide receiver, I mean, that'll be an interesting battle. I mean, I think it's kind of clear cut. We got the kid Parker Washington, from Penn State. He's going to make the team. And there's a lot of talk about him, and he looks like a good player. And then, it's going to be tough to make the squad as a receiver. I think Tim Jones is probably has an inside track for that last receiver spot. And then Agnew always gets overshadowed. But and he's the return specialist. But it did a good job for us.
Yeah, I think he's the best in the league at returns. So.
Yeah, but no, not just for that. I mean, just as a receiver, like him being in there, he's more than capable. Even though there was the Kansas City thing.
And going back to our defense back, our secondary, with who we have now, and coming into their second year with Doug, our receiving core, it could put some pressure and some training and make our defensive backs and secondary a lot better.
Iron sharpens iron.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's the old coaches.
If our defensive line with Trayvon and the way he's doing, it can make our offensive line a little better. I mean, this is iron, like you said, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking more about the training camp in the coming weeks. Obviously, we're excited. We'll be out there, so we'll be getting back to.
I'll get some footage out there tomorrow. I'm gonna try to, talk to some people and throughout. I got all the, I'm signed up for every day, and I should be able to go. Are you guys?
You like to talk?
What?
You like to talk? I haven't noticed. Have you noticed that?
I never couldn't tell. But I need him to talk right now. Talk about our sponsor, Peppery Blue Hot Sauce. Ben, let's talk about it for a second.
Yeah, it's one of today's sponsors. So the makers, I've actually done some business with them in years past, outside of the hot sauce business, and it's a new venture for them. But I was meeting with them the other day, and they told me about it, and I tried it, and it was really good. So you want to try it?
We've tried it, and the thing about it is, it's not just hot for the sake of being hot. It has flavor. It's a good flavor. It doesn't just like heat your tongue up, and it's good. You can put. Me and Jeff were dipping popcorn in it earlier. It's actually delicious. So shout out to Peppery Blue. It's good.
They have they have two heat levels. They have the traditional and then the blue flame. I got enough hair on my chest, so I went with the traditional.
Had to fall somewhere.
But anyway, no. So this is a true story. The day that they gave that to me, I got home and it was torrential downpour, and I'd stopped by the grocery store on the way home, and I was waiting for it to let up just a little bit so my hair wouldn't get wet. And
God forbid.
This is honest to God, I was sitting there, and all I had in the truck, I was starving. I had hot sauce and I had Lay's potato chips. And I'm like looking at it, and I was like, hey, why not? So I started dipping the chips in the hot sauce and eating it. It was good. But I've had it on, I made wings with it, some chicken tenders. And then actually the other day, my wife made pigs in a blanket, and I just wanted to kick it up a little bit. So I opened it up and dipped some in the hot sauce, and it's good. That's a good mix, by the way.
Shout out to Peppery Blue. We appreciate you guys. Buy local, support local. We like it. Peppery Blue.
Yeah, big on supporting local. We'll put the link in the description on where you can get it, and check them out.
All right, and make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that comment. Give us a comment, because this week is the giveaway. We're going to be giving 2 T-shirts away to any. It's going to be random commenters. So give us a comment, and on the next episode, we'll call out the winners. It's going to be t-shirts today, right, Ben?
Yep, t-shirts. We'll give out some more t-shirts. We gave out a couple. Still trying to get in touch with one of the people that won, but gave out some t-shirts and a print for the last show. But yeah, that's right now. That's the contest that we're running. So we're looking at all the comments, social media and on YouTube, and just picking them at random, drawing names out for who the winner is. So keep making sure that you interact with us on social media and leaving comments
I
on
have to
YouTube.
leave comments so I get one of them shirts.
We don't have extra small. We have.
Oh, I thought we did.
But
we made it almost a whole
You said it
episode.
last show.
Almost
You
a
said
whole
I got-
episode without a short.
I got a kid small for Jeff.
Yeah.
that's
I got excited.
That's going to do it for Ben, for Jeff. I'm Eric. This is Spot On Jaguars, brought to you by Teal Reign. Thank you guys.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Ben, Jeff's going to get us canceled. You got to do something, man. This guy.
That was funny.
I do.
There was nothing wrong.
Like,
Nothing wrong.
Jeff's
with
gonna get us
that was a
canceled.
complete funny
All right.
That was
comment.
awful.